Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' to the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Welcome to Hybrid, the sons of God. In this highly acclaimed series, descendants of the ancient gods face off against a celestial threat. Our heroes begin to converge at the Stardust Hotel, where a deadly ambush awaits. Who will be the first to fall on the killing field? A fast-paced adventure where a Chris Claremont-era X-Men meets ancient aliens. Elements of drama, horror, and humor tell a well-crafted story. Complex character dynamics come into play as average people face unspeakable evil while learning to live with their newfound powers. Referred to as the X-Men I wanted to read, it is worth diving into the Hybrid universe now. With plenty of ways to get started at any budget, you can get your copy of Hybrids today, only on Indiegogo.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter. And let me check. Yes, that's the name written on the waistband. I am RJ Carter. That would make me the senior managing editor here at criticalblast.com, chief envelope licker for Critical Blast Logistics, myopic proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing, and I answer the phones for Critical Blast Consulting for people who need assistance on their campaigns. We had a full house tonight here in the chat. Frog G has been working feverishly to get all the links for all those little stingers that we've been playing at the beginning of our broadcast tonight. And that offer is still open to people who have campaigns that are active. If you have a 15-second video campaign, get in, punch it, tell us where it's at, get out, send it to us. DM us on Twitter at Critical Blast. We'll get you the instructions on getting it over to us, and we will throw it into the rotation. As soon as your campaign funds, or it's no longer, when it's done, then it's like we'll throw it out and put something else in its way. So thank you, Frog G, for being all on top of that. Rabbits and Ray Guns, Greg Shen is out there. Welcome, sir. Glad to see you in the chat, man. Glad you're in here for this one. Miss Rena's also out there in the chat, and Nefarious was here first ahead of everybody. Hope everybody's still there. I counted off more people than the screen is telling me are actually active right now, but that number goes up and down. Tonight, we are going into the world of Indiegogo to look at another crowdfunded book. This one is the third in a sequence, so I believe this actually wraps up the arc. So this would, this was sort of like a slam dunk. If you've got the first two, obviously you're going to want this last one. We are talking with Luke Stone, the creator of Sons of Gods, Hybrids Sons of Gods. How you doing, Luke?
Good, RJ. Thanks for having me tonight, man. I really appreciate it. It's good to catch up with you again.
Yeah, well, it's been too long, but you had things going on.
Yeah. There was.
You weren't answering your emails. You wouldn't pick up the
some
phone.
Stuff. Yeah. I'm still going through emails and messages that people sent me, and reading some of those. Just some of the, just the love and support that people gave me, man. It's overwhelming still. It really is.
Well, you were missed. I mean, because a lot of us were, in that still denial phase. We're like, we're staying home, we're wearing masks. I don't know anybody with this. Luke's in a coma. Like, oh, this really
I did not think that I was ever going to get it, and if I got it, it wouldn't be that bad. And then, I'm laying in the hospital, after 12 days there, and I feel bad. I mean, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And
because we've had people say, hey, I got it. It wasn't that bad. We were conditioned to think that, if you did get it, and then both you and Randy Zimmerman were just like out of commission.
Yeah.
We're like,
we got that really Delta variant. Now, oddly enough, I did make a joke several weeks before I got sick. I said, Delta variant, where do I get that book?
Yeah, that was a stretch goal.
Yeah, talk about a stretch goal. Yeah. So but by the grace of God, I made it through it. Everybody's prayers, the support. I wouldn't change anything though. It was an experience that taught me a lot and changed me for the better, I think.
Well, we're glad we didn't lose you. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of this work was done before you were hospitalized.
This was, yes. Now, this is not the end of this arc. This is the third of 4 installments. So I'm drawing the 4th installment now. And I'll be honest, I think the art might be a little better. Because I have to use my time a little differently now than I did before because I'm still recovering. They expect it's going to probably take a year or better for me to get back to about 90% of where I was. I've hit let's say COVID was a tree and I've fallen out of the tree. Those branches are possible complications. I've hit them all. Coming down. So yeah.
And then the ground.
Yeah, I'm the ground. Yeah. I've, I lost the use of my left arm. I have some significant nerve damage. I still have some paralysis that I'm dealing with. They vented me and they actually did not trach me soon enough. So I was on the vent for 5.5 weeks before I got trached. They left me on there while I was. So I have some significant damage to my vocal cords, which is getting better. I've got some great speech therapists that are really helping me with exercises and stuff. So it's getting a lot better. But
is the arm come back, or is that just totally gone?
Well, I'm able to move a little bit, and I've got this motion now, and so, but yeah, you can see it doesn't look quite right. The muscles I can't feel these 3 fingers at all. So
oh man,
it feels it's weird those. Now these
were you right-handed?
I can feel. I'm right-handed, yes, so I can draw fine. I was a guitarist though, and I used to be really humble about it, but there's no need to be humble about it now because I can't play anymore. I was freaking awesome, RJ. I could kill it on guitar. Can't do that anymore, which sucks.
You
but
will.
You know,
You will.
yeah, well,
It's some
maybe,
therapy and some training.
yeah, maybe. But if I don't, I'm not worried about it. You know, I'm okay with it because I'm still able to draw and make comics, and I've found new ways to create music through using MIDI and samples and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, because you got that. When you got the create bug in you,
oh yeah,
you've got to find a way to make it happen.
hmm
You got two campaigns, and I do want to talk about one of them that's closing up here in 32 hours. So I'm going to share that onto the stream here, and that is this long shots
yeah,
deal. A
yeah.
lot of people are kind of aware of what happened. We're
It'd be hard not to be
I
aware at
know
this
how
point.
a lot of people felt. I can't imagine what it was like for you to say, "Oh, I'm alive, thank God." What? I've been getting screwed while I was out.
Yeah, it was a real insult. I was just on a stream over with Mandy Summers and Figaro's over there pitching the long shots right now, and he kind of brought up the story that you know I was. They told me I wasn't getting better, and they said I asked the doctor. I said, hey, give me some realistic percentages here. I said if I don't go on that vent, what are my percentages of coming back from this? He said, well, I don't like to give definitives, but I'd say 0%. I said, you're declining. You're not getting any better, and you're gonna wind up dying in here. It might take a couple of days, might take a week or so, but if you decline, going on the vent, that'll be our last measure. Like once you can no longer coherently make decisions for yourself, we're going to put you on the vent, and the chances of you getting off the vent at that point are really bad, like 0%. Like you're not going to make it. And I said, okay, well, what if I decide to go on the vent right now, like today? He said, well, we can give you a 5% chance of survival if you go on the
That's
vent.
still slim. So slim.
But it's better than zero, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah. So what I'm doing is I don't have the breath, the energy I can't talk. I was able to say two things to my wife when I called her my last conversation with my wife and kids. I said, I love you and pray for me. That's all I could say. Prior to that, I'm making sure that I've got these print files ready because I was told that we got moved from 60 stores, that we got moved up to 100 or so stores, and that they wanted an order of not 2,000 units a book, but they wanted 17,500 a book, which would have, with my one title for 12 issues, I was trying to line up who was going to finish writing the last issue. I messaged Piper and said, hey, you're going to have to write the end of this book. I know that you know where I'm going with it. You've seen the outline. You're completely capable. Please do this. I'm going to have Brian Dawson draw the last of the books for me. And so I'm trying to get messages out to people to say, hey, make sure you get a hold of this person and that person. Make sure these books happen because this is going to be the last thing I can do for my family before I take my last breath. That's my thought. And
Yeah.
so I go in with a 5% chance of survival with the comfort that my wife and kids will at least be taken care of financially. See, now I'm a pastor. I live in a parsonage. Now I know they're not going to kick my wife and kids out, but when they hire a new pastor because the old one died, they're
Yeah.
going to have to use the parsonage for the new pastor. That's just how it works, you know. So they would have to find a place to move. They'd have to deal with, the loss of their breadwinner, their husband, their father, and I was like, so
And
at least,
basically what you were setting up was a way to provide for them by, printing, or ordering to be printed those 12,000 some odd copies. And
yeah,
what was happening in actuality was you were draining, potentially draining the nest egg that they already had. Because
yeah,
this
exactly.
was a fraudulent deal.
I put money into the first print run of 3,000 books that we did, 2,000 to go to Spencer's, which I hate to use their name, but because they had nothing to do with this, they
Yeah.
were never even involved, so they did nothing wrong. 2,000 to the retailer, and 1,000 to Liberty Distribution, ran by Varian Grant, who was going to distribute those to different comic shops and conventions that he had lined up. And so I'd already spent money on that, and I had sold some guitars, some heirloom guitars that I was using to set money aside to print the other books. But I also used money to have these books remastered, because that they were going to go into a new audience, and I needed to have more pages filled. I had some things that I wanted to do with it, so I took advantage of this opportunity to reprint these books and publish a new taste for these books with Randy Zimmerman and Arrow Comics. And so I get sick, I go down. Randy gets sick, he goes down. We wake up, and Anthony Figueroa's like, Luke, do you feel up to doing a meeting, a Zoom call? I said, yeah, sure, I can manage that. At this point, I'd been capped, so I could talk a little bit, but I had to kind of hold it, but it was really rough. But he's like, you don't really have to talk, you just have to listen. And I'm like, all right. And so, man, we do this meeting, and I was already told that the deal fell through. I was told the deal fell through while I'm in ICU, can't talk and trached. And then Varian calls me when I moved to my second facility, and I'm finally capped, so I can finally get phone calls. And he calls me because I'm finally using my phone again. And it was one of my first phone calls that I got. And he was like, yeah, the deal fell through, and kind of gave some him-haul stuff. And I felt bad. I felt responsible, because I got sick. He kind of led me to believe. I guess it wasn't an intention during the conversation, but it still made me feel that way, like it was, Randy and I's fault. We got sick, and we couldn't meet the demands of the books, But I knew that I had books pretty much ready to go, even if we had to take the old files and they had other stuff to them. The files were there. These books could be reprinted. They could make it to the print, and so I woke up to, this, and Randy was at that meeting, and gosh, man, when it sunk in that, God, this is not real. The whole thing was fake. It's fraudulent. We didn't at that point didn't know how fake it was until we started to dig, and we just found out how fake it was, and it was bad.
Now the
And
paper
then
shortage. Go on.
paper shortage was real. So that
Yeah.
did keep
That
us from being
saved
able
you.
to print. Yeah, that saved us to start with. And then JD Calderon, was very astute, and he was noticing some inconsistencies that were bothering him. So he protected our assets as well, and it was crazy how that all played out. And as things went on, other things. The first realization was, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't die, because this was supposed to take care of my family. If I'd have died, they would have been left nothing, absolutely nothing. And I'm like, that ticked me off.
Yeah, you
To
spent the
level
money
that
on the first rerun.
Yeah.
For the 2,000 or 3,000, I can't recall the exact
3,000
number.
units. Yeah,
3,000. You spent
3,000
the
units.
money.
2,000. Yeah,
Okay. So
3,000
because
to
the
the.
paper shortage meant the next larger order couldn't be done, you didn't get billed for that. But did you liquidate assets to have that liquidity to
did.
pay for that next one?
I personally did, yes, because my thought was, this is an opportunity. The way it was presented, it's an opportunity. It's a gamble. It's a long shot, but it's an opportunity to get our books into a new market. And if it goes well, and if we're smart and hardworking, it's not just good for us as individuals. It's good for all of independent comics, because now we've opened up a new door, a new avenue for selling our books to people that don't typically go into a specialty shop, your basic comic book shop, which we love the comic shops, don't get me wrong, but we know that there's an audience that could be drawn in other markets. And so, that's a tough thing, and we knew it was gonna be a lot of work. But yeah, so the first realization was, crap, my family would have been screwed. Then the second realization was, I sold my favorite guitar. I had a very nice 25th anniversary edition, PRS, signed by Paul Reed Smith himself, custom case, custom strap. It was in this beautiful blue burst with a matchbook. It was my main guitar. I loved it. It had the McCarty narrow field humbuckers to it. I was like, man, this guitar was everything I ever wanted. And I was like, I can get a lot of money out of this. I can get a lot of money
even
out of it.
Even if you end up never playing guitar again, that's something you could have passed on to your child.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something that, but I sold that to have money to pay for the remasters and the print job, the second month, because I already had enough money for the first month. So I needed to have money to cover the second and third month for the 2,000 units, 3,000 because it was nominal for us just to print over the 2,000 required. So it was smart for us to do that. And so that went terribly, terribly wrong. So
folks,
that was that
the
situation.
the 3,000 that Luke printed are part of this campaign I'm showing at the moment called the Long Shots. This is where all 7 of the creators involved had 9 titles total. And basically this is almost like a fire sale, really. Say, hey, we have all this excess
really
inventory,
is.
trying to get money back.
Well, none of us would have ever printed 3,000 units of our books to sell it for an indie market. We just wouldn't do that. Like, it would be stupid to do that. We would be stuck with a lot of books. That's why we do short run prints for all of our campaigns and stuff. And because we have families and lives that require us to not spend tons of money on major print runs that won't necessarily sell. But these were pre-sold with no return.
Yeah, if you have a campaign that does 3,000 units, you've got a really successful campaign. You print these off
you're
without
doing EVS units.
Yeah, exactly. So this is there's several tiers on here, mix and match combinations. The main tier is right here, the buy-in, $25 for 9 comics. You're not gonna, if you went to all 9 of these campaigns and said, give me this book, you would be spending close to $200.
These are 32-page books, man.
Yeah.
Each one of them has 32 pages. They are beautifully printed. I mean, some of the best printed books that I've ever been a part of. I've got one right here in front of me. Hero Bot Zero, Randy Zimmerman, Arrow Comics. Just fantastic books. Just fantastic books. And it's they look fantastic. They're glossy. They've got and here's the other thing. The printer went ahead and printed these with 3 staples. And so
I heard that. Yeah.
So the spines are they're
not going to let go.
Yeah, and we wanted something that, was going to be handled by retailer, by, some clerk that, was working part-time and, didn't necessarily, know anything about comics or anything, but they were going to be, handling these books. And so we wanted to make sure that what we were giving them was something that they could put on the shelf. It could still be collectible and hold up to the, kind of the wear and tear of
the manhandling of the cashier.
Of a mall. These were going to be in malls all over the East Coast. So,
well, that was the belief. That they were going to be in malls. This is where I say narrator's voice. They were never going to malls.
They were never leaving the warehouse, the storage unit. They never did.
So I still am baffled as to what the end game was going to be on all this, because I'm like, I don't see the money. Certainly not in 17,000 units. I could see 3,000 just saying I've got extras for cons, but 17,000, I don't get it.
Yeah, well, total of 21,000 because
That's
we had
right.
3,000 of each book. So my thought was, and here's my best guess, is it was for clout, for Liberty Distribution,
That's a
to
lot
to
of clout.
feel to be yeah, but to be like a real distributor. Because the problem with a lot of comic shops is this: they, if the books aren't on hand, but he can say, look, here's pallets of books, here are 9 titles that we can fulfill right now, these orders. So I think that was part of it, and he stood the chance. He was making 25 cents a book off of every book sold. He's making 25 cents as the distributor. We knew it was, that seemed fair to us, and because they were supposed to be sold at a certain price. But if they got liquidated, he was still going to make his money. We would lose, a significant portion of the profits. And so my thought was maybe he intended to liquidate these books if he couldn't get retailers to buy them. And at the end of the day, it turns out, at the end of the day, it turns out that he's a pathological liar. And I'm not saying that based on things that aren't fact.
Yeah.
This is stuff that he said to me directly that turned out to be absolute fabrications. And I was his friend.
Yeah, this is a sad situation.
It really is.
It's a black mark on the indie comic scene for sure. Because everyone's talking about this campaign's a scam or that campaign's a scam. As long as I get my book, I don't see a scam in any of this stuff. But in this case, there was a scam, and it was being perpetrated on the creators, not on the customers.
Yeah. But now it's a great deal for the customers because we have books. We're shipping them out in June. We have control of. They're now in our storage unit. So Randy, who was on the hook for 3 books, and JD Calderon, who was on the hook for 3 books. Randy, actually, he took over possession. Now, my friend Eric Hodson, who does some work for me and stuff, he had worked out this thing where he took control for us. And then Randy now is better, doing well enough to travel the 45 minutes or so to go do that. And so now he's taking control of it. So Eric doesn't have to be responsible for all these books now. So it's now in our hands completely. And these things are ready to go. They're ready to go. And they're
really
beautiful.
It aggravated me that this was a distribution scam because I'm like, I'm not a creator, but distribution is what we do. So when another distributor starts, playing fast and loose and lying to people, I'm like, okay, now they're going to look at all distributors, and that's going to impact potentially what I do as a distributor for campaigns.
And let me say this, especially for those watching today. I got Marvy's Sin Killer in the mail.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So now I got a lot of packages in the 150 days that I was away from home in the hospital. So I'm going through them slowly. Well, I was going through the books and I saw that Critical Blast envelope and I opened it up, and you did a fantastic job on making sure everything got out. So if you are looking for help with distribution, especially with your campaign, RJ's legit. He's running a good operation. Don't let what happened with Liberty and our story affect your willingness to work with RJ. Or, now I won't say trust everybody, but our RJ's legit. So.
I'm trying. I stay transparent as I possibly can. So we're going to shift over now to the to the book of the night. 27 days left. Is this 3 days in, or are you on your second 30? I can never tell.
Oh no, I am not going to go an additional 30. I started this for 35 days because I knew I wanted to end early May. But I will not extend this campaign. It is flexible because I am going to print and ship what people order. because the book is done. All of the work is finished. I just need to recover my costs from it. So that's why I have a $3,000 goal, because that
Sure.
recovers the bare minimum for me. It
Yeah.
covers the ability to be able to print that and distribute it, plus come up with the money that I spent um, to finish up a few things with the book that needed to be
Well,
done.
since we've started, because I set that I refreshed this right before we started. You're up 3% of gold during the show that we've had tonight.
Oh, nice,
And
awesome.
that is what we call our. I don't know if we've ever had this when you've been on the show before, Luke, but this is our shake and bake moment, and this goes out to whoever it was in the chat who made this happen.
It's shake and bake, and I help.
I love that.
We
Yeah, that's
appreciate
new.
your help. I've had it forever, but very seldom do I actually get to use it. So I was happy about that. So tell us where we are. For those who have not seen Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, this goes all the way back, I believe, to like the Nephilim. There's a little genetic marker
Yes,
that's getting
yes,
along.
yes.
It never really thins out, and sometimes
Yeah.
it fires up. So superheroes are
Yeah.
sort of like demigods. In
Yeah. Yeah.
what is the
Um,
in the Noah? I can't remember what the term is for the Noah age, but
Yeah, it's escaped me too. I've got COVID fog, so some
I'm
things
just
that I
old.
know well. Yeah, I don't know about
but you
that.
tell us where we're at in the series right now, and I will.
Yeah.
I'm going to munch down a candy coated Fraga. I call these
Marshmallow,
little these little candy Fragas.
Those are nice. So here's the deal. I have always been a fan of conspiracy theories, ancient aliens, and all of that stuff. And I've got my own theories over the years that I've put together. And it stems from one verse in the Bible, in Genesis chapter 6, where it talks about the sons of God seeing the daughters of men and procreating. And so, I found out that there are people that are way smarter than I am that believe that the Nephilim, those creatures talked about in Genesis, actually inspired the Greek gods. So the stories of the Greek gods are just exaggerations, a little based on these Nephilim creatures. And they believe there were real characters that were analogs, which is really cool. And it got me thinking, well, I believe the Nephilim were real and they existed. And if their abilities, because angel just means messenger, right? So
Right.
these sons of God, they could look like a lot of different things, like your, centaur or whatever, which one of the things like those kind of cryptids, that's angel bestiality.
Yeah.
Sick, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's
and
sick.
here's the part
But
that I can never marry up with that is that if the sons of God were having children with the daughters of men, that means that they have a genetic code
yes.
that's passable. And yet at the
Mhm.
same time, we have the words of Christ that say that the angels in heaven who neither marry nor are given in marriage, which has always led people to believe that, these angels are these genderless, sexless beings that, they don't have organs of generation. And now I'm thinking,
They're
they don't
not.
marry or get in marriage. It's a great big party. You go with who you want.
They don't hook up. Like they don't do that. It's a carnal thing, right? It's like the priesthood. They're it's a vow of celibacy. That's the way I view that. Is like they're not getting married and having babies. That's not what they do. That's not their intent. They don't have that desire. But these angels, when they came to earth, they rebelled. And they're like, you know what? Let's try the sex thing, see how it works. And they,
Found out they
so
liked
now we've, of course, right? So now we've got Nephilim. And and my thought pattern is, well, if angels and humans can make babies, then Nephilim, they may not just stay with Nephilim. They may stay with, they may go with other humans or whatever. Some of these may be women or men that are, Nephilim creatures. And, I might have, if I was alive during that period, I might have looked at it. I'm not saying it was aliens, but yeah, but um, you know, I might have looked at a giant Nephilim lady and been like, hey, baby, you know, what size ring you wear? Let me put a ring on it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might have been, So it's like, well, what if
because the
these?
origin. I mean,
Yeah,
even Goliath. Uh, Goliath is post flood, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty much
So
clear indication there that the Nephilim survived in some
they
fashion.
did, and we know that Joshua uh, hunted down the last king of the Nephilim
Yeah,
and took him out. And so we know that they were still dealing with these giants. But my thought was like, okay, well, what if they continued to procreate with humans, and that genetic code just gets watered down, you know? And what if it gets watered down to the point to where it becomes like a recessive trait, like red hair or blue eyes does? But instead of red hair and blue eyes, you could have superpowers like the ability to lift buildings or teleport or maybe even manipulate time itself. And I'm like, that's a fun concept. And so as I talked about that with some of my friends uh, many years ago, a pastor friend of mine was like, you should make this a comic book. This would work perfect for a comic book. And so I started to develop a storyline and world develop. It took me a long time to get to the point where I was happy enough to tell the story. And so that is what's happening in this world. There's a manufactured event that causes people with this Nephilim DNA, this hybrid DNA, if you will, to uh, materialize and to start just to come alive in people, right? So this manufactured event is followed by another equally strange thing. Someone's coming around and abducting these people that develop powers. And we deal with that whole thing in the first 5 books, which is available as a trade paperback as an add-on. But you don't have to start there. So the Killing Field is the continuation of that story, but it is standalone. You can jump right in with Legacy issue 6 or part 1 of the Killing Field and get involved with the story. And part of that is, which is for me very interesting, is that what they run into is they think that the main threat is all they're dealing with. But in this arc, they find out that the threat is worse than what they realize. There was other things going on that are far beyond what they had even imagined. And as they're trying, it's so bad. But as they're learning some of this stuff, they are thinking that they're laying some hurt on the bad guys. But they think they're doing a good job. They think they're winning. But the reader finds out pretty quick that no, there's Azazel is called the Game Master for a reason. He is the ultimate chess player. And this wicked, deadly game of chess begins to play and unfold. And that's called the Killing Field. And so this is the third of 4 installments. What's that?
The name Azazel. I haven't heard the name Azazel since that Denzel Washington movie, Fallen. Because that was the demon there.
Yeah. He's actually the scapegoat in a lot of the angel lore. And he is the one that looks like what people think Lucifer looks like. And a lot of the things that Azazel did is actually been attributed, has actually been attributed to Lucifer. But it was not Lucifer at all that did this stuff. It was Azazel, and Lucifer is taking credit for it. So that kind of plays out in the next arc, that tension. And so that's some pretty cool stuff that we're doing with the storyline. And but yeah, that's so if you know much about angel lore and that kind of stuff, that's where that's at. So yeah, Azazel is he's also rumored to be the one that of the Watchers that when they came down was the one that encouraged the other angels to start having sex with humans. He's the one that encouraged it, and he taught humans how to make weapons and how to fight and do like all that kind of stuff. Like he was that guy. He basically was the creator of chaos and all of this. And so so he
So
is
this
our antagonist.
he's the antagonist. He's literally that Azazel, which means that at some point, and I don't know if you ever get to it or if it is part of the story, God exists in this universe in an active manner.
Yes.
And I know you're a pastor, and you're going to say God exists in this universe in an active manner too. But
Yes, he does.
I mean in a way where there are word balloons attached to him and actions that are directly visible.
Pardon me. I don't actually put God in the books. In fact, it's not a Christian comic per se. It's as much a Christian comic as Lord of the Rings is a Christian fantasy book. It's or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a Christian fantasy book.
Sure.
They were written by Christians. They've got allegorical elements to the stories, and the Christian worldview comes out in the message in the book, and that's how this works. So I'm kind of in that vein, but just taking a Chris Claremont era-esque attempt at doing this with superheroes. So that's really kind of what this is. So, but I deal with the fact that one of our characters, and we deal with this in issue 5, issues 4 and 5 of the previous arc, that one of our characters is an atheist. And the very fact that he has angelic DNA means there's angels. And if there's angels, just like you reasoned, i.e., there must be a God. So if there is a God, I don't believe in God, but my very existence proves that there's a God. How do I reconcile that? And so...
a lot of people go alien.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that say that, hey, these angels that always appeared in the Old Testament, Ezekiel saw the wheel. He didn't see an angel. He saw a UFO. That was an alien encounter. The people,
the wheel within a wheel.
And the people who went to see Lot before Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed were 2 aliens who were intervening in the in the history of mankind. Billy Graham goes the opposite way. Says, they were angels. How do you think they get around?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of crisscross with that, but it's fun to play with that conspiracy theory set of rules.
So we play with that. That makes its way into the books. I tried, the Christians that are in the book, I try to write them in a realistic light. Like one of our characters, his name is Rev. His nickname is Rev. And he used to be the pastor of the church that is now closed, that they have their hideout in. So headquarters is in this old church. And so, it's a church. Yeah, they're in Franklin, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. So it's in a real place. It's a town I've been to. I'm well familiar with it, having been in music, and so it's kind of a cool, jump to, to think, these are real topics that people deal with, and there's that connection to the church, but you learn a little bit about Rev and the fact that he, the church didn't survive, and I think, and it was because of his moral failings that it didn't survive, and so kind of deal with some of those things, but it creates interesting tapestry to paint for the characters. So it's a very character-driven book. There's a lot of familial interaction and things like that. I don't go into everyone's backstory, but things are hinted to and things are brought up that make a good, a kind of a good lore in your head. We'll eventually cover some of those things in spin-off books and things like that, but it's something that people can get interested in.
Agent Zero says he lives very close to Franklin, Tennessee. You should find there's a draw yourself in the book tier there, Agent Zero, and
Yeah.
and put yourself in your local town.
I don't do a lot of those, the draw yourself, like the drawn in tiers, not because I don't like them, just because I work ahead so much. So normally by the time when I'm running a campaign, the book is ready to go to print. I'm like, I'm just days away from sending the print files over. But I will try to do a drawn in thing for some people that might be interested in that in the last arc, because I got a lot of people to draw in the next one. The third book, this book that we're putting out right now, this battle that takes place during the entirety of the 31 pages of story for the last book in this arc, which is all takes place. It's one big battle, and but a lot of character development takes place during it. A lot of plot-driven action is in it. So this is a book that's not gonna disappoint you, I don't think. I've had a lot of people read it. I've got a lot of feedback, and it mostly, if not all, has been extremely positive. I got one piece of negative feedback that was consistent on the first arc. They kind of felt like Azazel got punked at the end. And I was like, yeah, of course he did. Because he got punked and the good guys ran away. And I'm like, you don't understand. These characters are like, if you're thinking in terms of role-playing games, they're like level 10. And this guy, Azazel, is God mode. He's like a level 100, Like, they literally would get wiped out by this guy. The only solution to continue the story is for them to punk him and run away. It's the only solution. And maybe I wasn't clear enough with that during the story. But I said, trust me, by the time we get to the end of the killing field, you are not going to be disappointed with Azazel's role in the story. In fact, you're probably going to be ticked. You're going to be mad at him. Then you're going to realize that he is me, and you're going to be mad at me. So yeah.
Well, I do like the X-Men aspect of this. Like you said, it's latent angel DNA. It gets activated by a manufactured event. And when I think of celestial powers and the X-Men, I can't help but have to ask you what your reaction was this week to the scene in X-Men comics where they refer to the Nazarene mutant raising a few people from the dead.
Well, yeah, Jesus is a mutant in this world. Can I just say that I don't buy this crap anymore?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, man.
There will be one Marvel title on my pull list as soon as I find out what it is. I don't know what it is yet, because the guy that Nitho Diaz that did cover B for the first part of Killing Field and did cover B for this third part and did a special Hybrids Lady pinup for me. Nitho Diaz just got a job for Marvel, and he's doing the sequentials for a book.
Oh, cool.
That book I will buy.
Yeah, makes sense. You support your friends.
Yeah. Love the guy. Nitho, not only is he a talented artist, him and his wife both have been working on my special covers and things like that. He's not just a great artist. He's a great human being. And, I hold him in high regards. And so, yeah.
Do you know what title he's on yet, or are you still waiting?
No. He's not saying what title he's on, but and I can't wait to find out. But as soon as he does, I'm going to be promoting that book because I want people to go support the title that he's on. I'll want him to stay and work, but hopefully I'll still be able to afford him for other projects down the road.
Yeah, his rate's going to go up.
Yeah, I guarantee it. He's so good. He's so talented.
You have a number of tiers on this campaign. I'm just going to kind of speed through them here.
Yeah.
You got what? What do you get? The whole book up here or something? I'm scrolling through.
I've got the first 8 pages. I've got the first 8 pages.
I feel like I've
So
gone past more than 18 pages.
8
Okay.
pages. I'll tell you this: 8 pages. I like to write my books in kind of like 6 to 8 page scenes that kind of give you a cliffhanger that you want to keep finding out what's going on with those characters.
Yeah.
Before I move into the next scene, I try to think of it in terms of, I try to mix like writing a movie or a TV series with writing a book. I try to have page turners, and so I write these increments, and I try to do that with every project that I'm on. And when I work at when I try to promote one of these books, I try to show the scene, that whether it be 6 or 8 pages, so that people can get the sense of what's happening there and what they can expect from the whole book without being a major spoiler. So I don't put any major spoiler stuff in there. Sometimes it's the middle 8 pages, that I do, but this is the first 8 pages of the book, so you can read it and get a sense for the art and the writing style, the dialogue. That way you can back this project with confidence, knowing that
And this is
that I'm capable.
second cover you're talking about.
That's my second cover, Nitho Diaz.
So this is Nico doing this. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little foreboding. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I made a mistake on the thumbnail here. I put this down as a Hybrid Sons of Gods #3, but it's just the Killing Field story part 3. This
Part
is your
3, yeah,
8th issue of Hybrids.
My 8th issue, yeah. I'm staying with the legacy numbers because I like that. But each arc is somewhat standalone-ish, with the exception of, actually the last arc, Lifeline, is also standalone. That will only be 3 issues, and each one of those issues is 30 to 32 pages each. So they're fatter, they're thicker books as far as story, but only by a few pages. And
So you've got 3 covers. One of them is black, or is there just a mystery image?
it's a black cover. So it is down at the bottom. I show the art that's getting printed on it. So it's actually a matte black paper with a clear UV toner. So
okay.
it gives. So that's the art that's going to be printed on there. So it gives this really cool effect. And I'm doing it for this series because this is by far the darkest series that I have ever done in any sense of books. And these are not really T-rated books. I normally put a T on them just because some of the themes are a little heavy for younger readers. But it is they are okay for younger readers. But this series, each floppy is getting its own black cover because it's cool.
Yeah. Now you got some really cool tchotchkes, I guess you would call it. You got your collector's bag here. We start with okay. So the first one on the list is these metal prints. Obviously, the B cover of this issue is one of the metal prints. Do you remember the size of this? Are they comic book cover size or larger?
They are cover book cover size. Now I just added as an add-on a 5x7-ish size. It's a miniature comic book cover. So I didn't know the exact dimension. So it's a little bit bigger than 5x7. It's but it's not it's not the 6 1/4 by 10 or whatever. So they're small prints. Yeah, so I did add those on. They're a little more affordable. They're smaller. So I did add those in as an add-on. But the ones that you get for the tiers are the same size as the covers.
All right. You got the collector's bag here. Character artwork great on this. I would ask, why is you've got that big empty field there? Why isn't the logo of the book there so that people can see where this comes from?
It might make it on the final prints on these, but I want people to be like, hey, those are cool characters. What's this come from? Because the top of the bag will get squished when you pull that drawstring in. So
This is true.
You'll probably see Chlorine's face, but the this art was originally done for the guy Brian Dawson, who does my layouts. Did this cover. He did did 5 covers for the first arc. They were all interconnected. So you put them together, it makes one big panoramic picture, and which was really cool concept. We only did a handful of those, and they went like hotcakes. And I wanted to reuse the art, so I find new ways to reuse the art, and this is one of the ways I'm doing that. Yeah.
You have the metal cover tier now.
Yeah.
What happens here? Are the because I still see the metal.
Let me explain that a little bit. You get both metal prints, but on the second cover B, the Nitha Diaz cover, we're doing, I think, 10, limited 10. We're doing a metal cover comic book. Okay. So it will be a metal cover on it. And those are really cool. So it's going to be the same printed book of the other ones, but instead of having the paper cover, it's going to have a metal printed cover on it. And so it's way cool how they do this. And those are great for collectors. I've had people grade those in the past, and I've never printed one of them. But for other books that I've got that had metal covers, I've never seen one be graded for less than a 9.8. So they grade really high. It's kind of
hard to put metal in less than mint. I mean, it's
exactly
crush.
Exactly.
And then you got a 3D mini bust here. Who's doing your busts? Are you printing them yourself, or?
Well, yes. On one of the tiers that as an add-on, I do have. So we've got the mini bust tier, which there's unlimited 10. I'm printing those on my printer with PLA, and I'm doing the faux finish, by hand. Then we've got an add-on. We've got 5 of them that we're going to do. We're having this printed in resin. And so I'll have 5 resin copies, but I'm also doing the finish by hand on those. So they will be the faux bronze finish. Now, as an add-on, let's say you've got a printer at home and you want to print off your own Trash Man. You don't want to bronze this thing. You want to airbrush it and paint it and make it, and you can make it any size you want to. You can make, big, little, whatever. I'm giving you the files for $5 so you can print this off yourself. I'm giving you the mini bust files and the larger files with the hair not attached, because the hair printed separate when trying to finish it, painting and stuff, it works a lot better. So you can glue that all together. And I've done one of those. They look fantastic.
Trash Man kind of looks like the maestro in that last picture with the green coloring and just his giant biceps.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, obviously not here once he's all together. It's just I think the baldness kind of adds to it.
It does. Yeah, it does. I thought the same thing.
So, folks, you can get the basic issue is $15, which is nothing in crowdfunding terms. It's already done, as you said. You're just waiting to go to print with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think this. Wait. You're not going to go in demand with this, or hold it in demand for any time.
I will go into in demand. I'm going to turn off obviously the metal cover tier and the bust add-on and the bust the bust tier I'll probably turn off. But I will leave on a few of these. I'll leave a few of them on. So I am going to print 60 copies of the black cover because I like to have a couple extra anyway, as long as they don't all sell. If all 60 copies get grabbed up, then there will be none left. There'll be none left at all. But
I'm just looking at the July date here, and I'm thinking you'll probably beat that unless you're waiting till you stay in demand for a while to collect straggler orders and then ship everything out.
I'm just going to print over. I'm going to print over by about 20%. I always do that. Whatever my order is, about 20%. I know that I'll get that in demand usually. I'm conservative with it. I know what I'm doing. So I like, I try to, so I'll be able to keep that. But yeah, July is my anticipated fulfillment date. Hopefully before that. hopefully before that. But the reason why it's a July date is because we're fulfilling the long shots in June.
Yeah. You
And
don't
so I'll
want
be
to double
traveling
up.
up to Michigan. Yeah, I'll be traveling up to Michigan to sign books and help package things, get them all sent off.
Yeah, by June, hopefully you'll be in travel condition. I don't know. I wouldn't want you traveling right now.
I have to be.
Obviously.
Yeah,
You didn't
I'm
make
not
that
right
trip.
now.
You didn't make that trip before, did you? I mean,
No, I did not. I was actually in the hospital when they went to the Spencer's headquarters.
to the non-event.
I was, yeah, I was. Probably a good thing because if I'd have gotten the sense that it was a farce, then I would not have been very quiet about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
it
everybody
would have
in
made
chat,
for a crazy drive home.
check out both these campaigns. Hybrids, yeah, well, driving home, especially if you've had 3,000 copies already printed at that time. Yeah, I'd have been hot too.
We did. Yeah,
So
we did.
everybody check out the Hybrids, the Killing Fields, part 1 through 3, because you do have the opportunity to get parts 1 and 2 in case you need to, catch up on the storyline. Which do that. If you haven't seen 1 and 2, get them. And if you want to really go back, then hit up the long shots here, where you'll get. I believe this is Trash Day, which is
That's Trash Day Part 1, which you can also get that as an add-on for this campaign. I've got that, and issue 2 is ready to go. It's actually at the printer now. I am using a guy named 3D Zach, which if you're a CG guy like me, you guys have heard his name. He's I'm trying to keep the CG.
So
for
he's
those that
the
hate
printer.
CG, too bad. Yeah, he's the printer. Yeah, he's the printer on this one.
Well, that's
he's
excellent,
not doing the
because
metal
now
cover or the black cover.
I didn't know there was a printer in the family, so to speak.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I mean, I've got boxes and stuff behind me here from Comics Impressions, and I've been showing these for a while now, but because I'm just waiting on the sketch cards to come in before I can start fulfillment on the company men, which I have in my hot little hand.
I cannot wait for that. I think I backed it before I got sick. If I didn't, if my address is not in there, let me know.
I will do.
I got to get a copy of that.
I will let you know right after this broadcast, because I'll just pull it up and we'll look.
Yeah, I gotta have that book. I don't know that I was my first experience. Like when I first saw it, I don't know that like the pitch didn't sell me right away, but it grew on me. I was like, you know what, that might actually be really fun. The more I thought about it.
This long shots has gone from 3827 to 4063 while we've been talking.
That's great.
So,
yeah. I know. Anthony just got off of Mandy's show pitching it too. So between these two streams, thank you guys. I appreciate
trust
it.
me, it was all
much.
Mandy. I'm sure it was all Mandy. Mandy sells.
might be, yeah.
Mandy draws eyeballs. I don't have what Mandy does. I got to get her back on the show again sometime.
I'm telling you, I have very few assets to offer people. One of those assets is my rapier wit. That's about it.
Yes, with an I in the middle there. It becomes something entirely different if you take the spelling wrong. Luke, thank you so much. Yeah, rapier, not as in more rapey, but never mind. Bad joke, and YouTube's just going to strike.
You get it. I get it, but it's funny nonetheless. I really appreciate you having me on tonight. It's fun to catch up.
It is, and I'm glad that you're. I'm seriously so glad that you're doing better, and that we have you back with us, and hopefully you'll be here more frequently as other projects come down the line here. Go on.
Yeah, my hope is to not just come around when I've got a book. My hope is to come around, kind of all the time.
We have open mic nights every Friday. You ever just want to pop in on it? It's sort of like an ask for the mic and it's open kind of thing, because we found out that open mic really opens up the liability potentials. I can imagine. It got kind of crazy for a while there. So we're like, stop, closed studio, open topic.
I do want to also let everyone know that I'm doing a show on Thursday mornings now with Nick Talker, the guy who developed the role-playing game that's going to be out later this year. And we did a quick play that was with the last campaign. You can actually do that as an add-on for
Oh, that's
this
cool.
campaign. If you want to
That's right.
do this,
This
do
is an
that.
RPG as well as a comic book.
Yes, RPG as well as a comic. And so he and I do a show called Nerd Bacon on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern. And so we talk all things nerdy, try to keep it positive. It is a safe for work thing. So if people come on with a trailer that's not safe for work, we don't show it. We maybe show it but mute it. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of cool things there. So, but yeah, we have fun with that. And
that's part of the Raging 2 network.
yeah. So also very cool. Check that out. So I broadcast it to like 4 Facebook pages, 2 YouTube channels, and 2 Twitter accounts. And so it goes out to a lot of places. And we have a fun crowd that comes in. Now, I always want people to subscribe to my channel, of course. But if you're going to do that, please also go over to the Raging 2 network and subscribe. So a dear friend of mine, Anita is a dear friend, but I was meaning to say Meredith Logren, who passed away recently, spent the last year of her life working to promote Liberty Distribution and Varian Grant and that whole network to promote this Spencer's deal in the end. And so she passed away before being able to realize her own dreams of getting her books out and promoting what she wanted to build. And so Nita Lanning has picked up the torch and is carrying on. And everybody that got burned by the Indie Volt network we've all jumped ship. And we are now over at the Raging 2 network producing amazing content. Sunday Funnies moved over there with Randy Zimmerman. We've got drawing streams. Yeah, we've got drawing streams. We've got this MCast on Tuesday nights. We've got Outside of the Box. C. Michael Lanning, fantastic creator. Stone Abdullah, they do a great job on their Tuesday night show. We've got Daphne Lage and just so many great contributors. And then we get to be a part of it with Nerd Bacon, and we're excited about it. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting.
Everybody in that network it's really it's. I almost wish I could just walk up to the convention table where all these people are at and just never walk away for the rest of the con. It's like I found my place. Yeah. You're the person I'm going to bug for the entire convention and just talk comics. But
that's what we want it to be. Yeah, that's what we want it to be. That's what we try to do with Nerd Bacon. It's kind of like hanging out at the comic shop and talking about whatever happened that week and highlighting any book that comes up. And so Miss Rena is going to be with us this Thursday. Next Thursday, we've got Michael Oden. And so, yeah, just exciting stuff. Happy to be doing that show. So, if you're watching tonight, head over, go to lukestonestudios.com. You can find my links over there. Sign up, subscribe, hit the bell, just like you've done here. And, and come watch us, hang out with us on Thursday morning. We're really good to turn on while you're working and listen to us, just the panel and the guests just chat. And so
it's like drive time radio.
Yeah, it is safe for work, so you don't have to worry about that, but it's fun. It's a good time.
We're going to have Michael Oden on tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, an hour later than we normally do. And speaking of fulfillment, and Michael Oden at the same time, yes, we are also the fulfillment agency for the Embrace. If you haven't got your Embrace, it's because you probably ordered a signed copy. They're still on their way from Australia. Yeah. So, we're waiting for it to get here so we can put it in with the books. Because
you got to have, Now, I got a copy. Number one, I love Michael. But I like Dean's art. I feel like he keeps getting stronger with his art like every day. I love seeing that growth, that progression. Michael just keeps getting better with writing. And but Michael made me a character in the book.
Oh, really?
And so, Captain Stone, that's me. Now he couldn't put the beard because cops don't have beards. So he drew me. They drew me without the beard, just the mustache. And so I'm in the book. So I had to get it, of course, because I'm in there, and I wanted to see how he handled the character. He handled me very well. That sounded dirty.
Clip that.
Yeah, he handled me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dynamo.
he handled the character well, and he told me that recently that I guess I get to be like a Jim Gordon type character, which I'm totally stoked about. But the book is so good. It's a fun read. It's interesting. It's a cool character. I like it. And there may be some Embrace fan art this Saturday on Red Valkyrie's art auction, the underground art auction, that you can get from me. There may be some Embrace fan art that I'll unleash on the world, and you can own yourself. So,
have you seen the new campaign that he's got for SPQR, which we'll be having on tomorrow?
I have, yeah.
There's an Embrace.
That's what he's coming on next week. Yeah, that's what he's going to talk about. I saw that, man. It was really cool. I've thought about doing a Trashman plushie. I'm not sure where to go to get those yet. So maybe Odin can send me in the right direction. But yeah, I've thought about doing a Trashman plushie. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. But of course, Bone is most people's favorite character. They love the guy. They love the guy with the glowy bits on his arms, and he's a cool character. He's a lot of fun.
Make a plushie with little translucent plastic bits that have LEDs on them. You squeeze his belly and his arms light up.
Oh man, that'd be really cool. That'd be cool. Sounds.
That's what I do. I spend your money on things that I don't have to worry about. So.
Spending my money again, RJ. The frick are you trying to do to me?
Luke, get yourself rested up for your next show here at the top of the next hour. Where are you going to be at?
Yeah. I'm going to be over with How to Draw Comics with Corey and Clayton Barton. So looking forward to that. Catching up with some more Aussie brothers in the CG world. So they're great guys. And I just want to say to everybody listening, this includes you and everybody that gave me well wishes while I was under. I'm still trying to go through all of the messages, but all of the prayers and the support that I've gotten from everybody, just an encouragement, posts, retweets, prayers, people commenting, messaging me, back in the long shots, back in hybrids. Man, I'm eternally grateful to all of you. I will continue to make books for you. As much as I make these for me, I make them for you too. And I cannot begin to just tell you how grateful I really am about all that. So, I just want to say that. And Bow, what a crackhead. Jeremy, what a great guy.
Absolutely. And he's here for the end because we're going to say thank you to you for coming on, to everybody in the chat, because we don't have a show if you're not out there to watch it. So we appreciate you being here always. Please do share this link out. I don't care if you like it or not. You don't have to like it. I won't beg for that, but I will ask you to share it, not for me, but for Luke, so that people can see his project that are in your circles. And as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Mm-hmm.